Welcome back into Ben Talks Utah Hockey. I'm Ben, your host for the podcast regarding all things Utah Hockey Club. From game previews, post-game breakdowns, player highlights, stats, and storylines, this podcast is your ultimate guide for Utah's newest hockey team. We'll dive into the big moments, the key plays, and rising stars that are putting Utah Hockey Club on the map. Whether you're a lifelong hockey fan, a newcomer to the sport, or you're just curious about Utah's growing hockey community, this is the place to be. So lace up your skates, grab your stick, and join me as we hit the ice and talk all things Utah Hockey Club. All right, and with that, we are going to get into our little pregame episode of Utah Hockey Club taking on Dallas here on Saturday night, January the 4th, 2025. Utah's coming into this matchup sitting at 17, 15, and 6, most recently coming off a win in Calgary last night in regulation with a score of 5-3. Dallas is sitting at 23, 13, and 1, most recently coming off a win versus the Senators in a 4-2 game in Dallas. Utah's power play has been capitalizing at a 22.4% rate, while Dallas is at a 15.4% rate. So Utah's a little bit better on their power play in scoring. But one place that Utah is not better than Dallas in is their penalty kill. So Utah's sitting at an 80.7 and Dallas has an 85.3 rate. So Dallas has been a little bit better at killing penalties off, letting in less goals on their penalty kill, while Utah has just slightly been worse than Dallas, letting in a few more goals on their penalty kill. Dallas also shines in the goals for versus goals against department, coming in with a 3.2 average of goals for and a 2.5 goals against average. Utah, on the other hand, they're almost even in these stats with 2.9. Utah's got 2.9 goals for and 2.97 goals against. So in this one, Utah's got to score and defend well. They've got to rely on their goaltender, Karel Vejmelka, again in this one, for sure. Points leaders for Dallas coming into this game, Matt Duchene, he's got 35 points. Their goals leader is Roope Hintz with 18 goals. Jason Robertson is their assist leader with 21 assists. And Thomas Harley, he's the leader in their plus-minus rating. He's got a plus 19 rating on the season, which is a stellar number for him. That means that for the newer fans, that means he's been out on the ice while the Stars have scored 19 more times than he's been out there with goals scored against. So if you've got a positive plus-minus rating, that's good. It just means that you're out there when goals are scored and you're not out there when goals are scored against you. So good rating for him. We'll talk about Utah here. Clayton Keller, he keeps the point streak going with 2 points last night, a goal and an assist, and he leads the team with 39 points. Dylan Guenther is the goal leader with 16 points, and Keller also leads in assists with 25. So like we've seen in previous seasons, Keller is the points leader on this team, and Gunther's giving him a run for his money with there, but Keller's been able to maintain a nice little streak here. So on the plus-minus category, Michael Kesselring, he leads in that department with a plus 9 rating, and he's on the defense. So that's a great stat for a defenseman to have. The higher that rating is, the better for your defense. Utah Hockey Club has played 2 games versus the Stars thus far this year and have lost in both games. In those games, they've scored a total of 3 goals and had 5 goals scored against. They lost 3-2 and 2-1 in both of those games, with just a 1 score difference in both. So it's imperative for Utah to stay in the fight, get some goals to go for them, keeping up with the offensive production that we saw versus the Flames last night. If they can score 3 or more, I think they stand a good chance at winning this game on the road. I can almost guarantee you it's going to be a tight game again, probably a one or two score difference in this game. And Utah does stand a good chance at winning this one on the road if they can get that goal production. We'll likely see Vejmelka in net for Utah, and he's got one of the best goal against averages in the league this year. He's sitting in that top 5 and for goaltenders, and his record again doesn't reflect it. It doesn't say I'm a great goaltender, but in the games that he's been out there that they've lost, Utah, for most of those games, has not had the goal production in front of them. They've got 1 goal, maybe 2 goals, and that's just not going to get it done in the NHL. So hopefully we can see the offense put up some points in front of him as the year goes on. And yeah, and hopefully we're going to get Connor Ingram back here soon in the middle of this month. He's back down in the AHL with the Tucson Roadrunners on a conditioning stint. So he'll probably be down there for a couple of games, and likely, if everything goes well, we'll likely see him back with the Utah Hockey Club coming up here sometime in early to mid-January. So just a little note there on the goaltenders. A couple of thoughts just real quick that I have for this game is who's going to start on that third line. We did see Liam O'Brien get the start last night versus the Flames. Matias Maccelli was out with an illness. So I mean, my gut's telling me that Matias Maccelli is going to probably be back in the lineup if he's feeling better. But I said this in my post-game review versus the Flames last night is I really liked that third line they had out there versus the Flames. Krause, Bjugstad, and O'Brien. Just a big physical line. And we'll see what Andre Tourigny does. I know he's not been liking to switch up lines now that he's got things kind of set in stone, but we'll see. I did like that line last night. They produced well, got a couple of goals. So yeah, we'll see who they get out there for that third line in this one. Also, can Logan Cooley stay on his little hot streak? He's had 2 goals in the last 5 games, a couple assists, and Keller has 4 points in the last 5 as well. So if they get a chance on the power play, both of those guys are out there on that top power play unit. We'll see them go to work if they get a couple opportunities in this game. Hopefully they can capitalize if they do get that chance. And I'm thinking they will, because penalties kind of seem to be a theme in this season, and special teams is such a huge part of the NHL. Can you score on the power play, and can you kill penalties off, and can you get good goaltending throughout both of those things? So we'll see what happens, but let's gear up for this matchup on Saturday with a showdown in Dallas. It's a Central Division battle, so these points are big for both teams. Utah sitting at 5th in the Central, tied with the Blues, and Dallas is sitting in that 4th position. Utah's got 40 points and Dallas has 47. So 7-point difference between these two teams. These 2 points are huge. Utah is trying to close that gap and Dallas is trying to widen the gap. And with the Avalanche sitting in that 3rd spot at 48 points, Dallas and the Avs are really close. As the year goes on, all these points matter. Every point in the Central Division, every point every night matters. Let's just say that for Utah going forward. They've really got to get as many points as they can, whether it comes in overtime and a loss, whatever, at least getting 1 point out of it. We've seen, what are they at? They have 6 overtime losses this year? Yep, 6 overtime losses. So that's 6 points that they get just taking it into overtime, and that's helped them because their record's not amazing. 17, 15, and 6. Those 6 could easily go the other way and be 18 points for them instead of that, or not 18 points, 12 points. My math could easily have been 12 points instead of 6. So that being said, that could put them up in that playoff conversation if they just can get those, if they can win in overtime or win in regulation, either way. But getting the points is crucial here as the season goes on. So yeah, hopefully they can continue playing well on the road and then taking it back home. They've got a 7-game homestand coming up, and some winnable games. So hopefully, fingers crossed. These next few games are important, and hopefully they can close that gap that is in that Central Division, because right now the lower teams are all kind of grouped together, and the top teams, they're all kind of starting to separate themselves. So this is kind of that make or break point in the season, and if Utah can't get it going, we'll probably be looking forward to next season sooner rather than later. Hopefully I'm wrong, and they're in the hunt for the playoffs, and we'll see. These next few games, they're important. This next stretch of the season going into January is huge. And the last season we saw kind of in this middle point of the season when they were in Arizona, they had a 10 or a 12 game losing streak. And I've talked about this on previous episodes, but they just can't do something like that. They lost 4 of the last 5, and we're on kind of a skid coming into Calgary last night. They get that win. They looked really good doing it, but are they streaky, or are they going to kind of get more consistent and stay hot with the consistency that they had last night? They did play a full 60 minutes last night, and that's been one part of their game that I know it's cliche. Oh, play a whole 60 minutes, but it's true. It's a cliche for a reason. Can they get that done versus the Stars? Stars are a tough team. They're big, physical. They got good players that can score. They got size. They got speed. Their special teams are good. So it'll be a tough test. It'll be a tough test for them. Dallas is, they're likely a playoff team. I hope this year Utah can kind of sneak into that wild card spot, but we'll see going forward here. But yeah, I think that's going to wrap it up. It's just a nice quick one tonight. What are we at? 12 minutes? Yeah, just a nice quick little preview. A couple things to think about, and going into Dallas and then going back on that homestand. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully Utah can get it done. I don't think there's any betting odds out right now that I've seen tonight. So look for that tomorrow if you're interested in betting on this. Likely the goal spread will probably be 5.5 or 6.5. Seems to be that in every single game. So like I said, you got to score 3 or more to win in this league, and Utah's just got to come. They got to get the goal production, and they got to keep their foot on the gas, play a north to south game, physical when they need to be, and good on the forecheck, pressuring in the offensive zone and getting pucks out quickly from the defensive zone, so they're not getting caught on bad changes and letting Dallas cycle and get shots on Vejmelka. So we'll see. We'll see what happens tomorrow night, but that's been it for the preview. Yeah. Catch me on the next one. We'll be coming at you with a post game tomorrow night after this game is done. It'll be late, but it'll be out. So look for that Saturday night or Sunday morning. This is Ben Talks Utah Hockey, and we'll see you on the next one.